It is time once again for another Chicago Bears pregame show, and we are taking a look at the Week 8 matchup in Baltimore with the Bears playing the Ravens Sunday morning. That will be 10 a.m. on the West Coast for us. I'm excited about that, Nico. We got 2 more weeks of 10 a.m. football before the Arizona daylight savings time, which doesn't happen because we don't change our clocks here in this state. We will move to 11 a.m. starts.
Oh, you're going to be so sad.
I am. I love 10 a.m. football. I love going to bed early. I also enjoy 5:15 Sunday and Monday night games, and those will move to 6:15, and that's going to affect my sleeping schedule.
Okay.
I'm sorry, folks. I mean, the older I get, the more I love getting up early and going to bed at a reasonable time.
Well, thank you. Thank you for the information.
Absolutely. All right. Well, we are here talking about the Bears and the big game in Baltimore, and we're going to be taking a look at this big injury report ahead of the game this week because there's a bunch of injuries hanging over this one. We are also going to talk about Kenny's keys to victory. That's right. That's me, Kenny. And we are going to be looking at what the poly markets are saying going into this week. That's right. The bettors. And hopefully it's not the players. I'm looking at you, NBA. But first, if this is your first time here, please do us a solid and like this video, subscribe to the channel, and ring that bell, everybody, for our mascot, Frexy. Look at her. Doesn't she just make you want to ring that bell? All right, Nika. Well, we have a big injury report ahead of this game in Baltimore this week, and that's because Lamar Jackson, the 2-time NFL MVP, that would be the most valuable player, he has been out for the last 3 games with a hamstring injury. And we know from all that we follow in baseball how nagging those hamstring injuries can be. So he has now missed 2 games plus a bye week here as the Ravens have fallen to 1-5 on the season, facing the 4-2 Bears.
Do we know if he will play?
The latest on the street, I mean, it looks like he's going to play.
Okay.
He practiced Wednesday after sitting out Monday and Tuesday. He then practiced again Thursday, and this morning, some of the regulars, I have the Rich Eisen show here, showing video of him jogging onto the practice field and kind of joking around with his teammates, doing a little catching and playing around. Now, I will say, in the video of him jogging onto the field, he looks ginger. He does not look like he's just jogging loosely at all. He looks a little stiff to me.
Okay.
And I don't know if he's favoring one of his legs. It just didn't look like, I mean, this is a guy that's known for having
running.
his legs and and his arm. I mean, he's a deadly accurate quarterback. He meets the Ben Johnson
requirements,
the 70% threshold.
Sure.
He's definitely there a lot more than he's not.
Okay, so maybe he will start the game, but he might not be able to finish it.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with this. The Ravens also, just as a side note, have a Thursday night game the following week. So they have a really short turnaround after this game, which means basically, like, I feel personally that he's going to be a game time decision. Like, I don't think they're going to tell the media or the reporters which way they're leaning until game time.
Okay.
They might know now internally what they're thinking,
but they're not
all of
tell.
them, but they're not going to reveal it. And they have kind of that strategy to hold over. It's a legitimate, I guess, time to stretch the truth, if you will. Like it's one of those instances where they're using it to their advantage. However, I will just preface this that as we go through this show, I am going to assume that Lamar Jackson is playing on Sunday. And if you look at the poly markets, no spoilers, but I would say the bettors feel that Lamar Jackson is also going to play in this game on Sunday.
Well, they're going by the same information you have.
Definitely. So I'm going to assume he plays, but it's probably going to be a game time decision. Don't look for any confirmation today or tomorrow.
Okay.
On the Bears list on the injury side, we got some stuff to talk about because DJ Moore and DeAndre Swift were both still on the injury report, even after playing last week. This dates back to those Monday night injuries or whatever. We don't really know what DeAndre Swift suffered. I don't know if it was in the Monday night game against the Washington Commanders or if it was more of a something from practice after that game. I don't know if we ever got clarification on that, but nevertheless, they're both still on the injury report. They both were limited in practice yesterday. I would expect that they will play again.
Okay.
And Lamar Jackson, by the way, is listed as limited in practice. So it's not like he did not practice, but he's not also a full participant. We'll see if that changes in today's injury report for the Ravens. Meanwhile, Joe Thuney, this one kind of caught me off guard. He was not practicing on Wednesday or Thursday. And he is one of the big Bears offensive free agent signings for their offensive line in the offseason. He is the left guard. Definitely need him in this game. So he's being listed out as rest. He is not injured. He is just getting a rest period here. And
recovery time?
Maybe that's something built into his contract. This is the guy that came from the Chiefs, and he was a highly touted free agent offensive lineman. He's all pro. He's by far the best guy on our O-line. So I really hope everything's okay and that this is just legitimately rest. So I'm gonna choose not to panic, everybody.
Okay. That's a good choice.
Cole Kmet, however, I think is gonna be out. He did not practice Wednesday or Thursday, and he has a back issue from the Saints game. I think he's going to be out. This is Colston Loveland's chance, I guess, to cement why he was the number 10 overall pick in this year's draft. We need some better tight end production. Caleb Williams needs to look for the tight end sooner, I think, in games to open up more parts of the passing game and the running game because it's in the middle. The tight end tends to run to the middle, at least in terms of like depth downfield. Elsewhere on the offense, Roschon Johnson, who is technically the third string running back, but also kind of our big boy. Like we mentioned that DeAndre Swift and Kyle Monangai are both kind of those small, slippery ones, but you do still need a power back. And Roschon Johnson is the power back. He did not practice Wednesday or Thursday, so kind of without a weapon going into the game, which I don't necessarily love. On the defensive side of the ball, Tyreek Stevenson has a banged up shoulder coming out of that Saints game. He did not practice Wednesday or Thursday, so a little bit of a wait and see, I guess, on that one to see if he has a chance to play. I don't think he's been ruled out yet. Kyler Gordon has a new groin/calf injury. That sounds like two injuries. That's two different parts of the body. This is after he came back. I think he had a hamstring to start the season, so not great. And Tremaine Edmonds, a linebacker, has an ankle injury. Ouch. So he's been a limited participant in practice along with Kyler Gordon. So I think they're going to play. It's just not great that one of your best defensive backs in Kyler Gordon, who started the year with injuries, now has possibly two other new ones.
Okay.
It's football. You're going to get banged up.
Of course. Of course. That's why there's so many players on the roster.
Absolutely. Now, Grady Jarrett, who has missed at least the last game against the Saints. I'm not sure if he missed the game before that, but he has been limited and now full participant in practice as of Thursday. So it looks like he is going to be back. And he was the big defensive nose guard that is going to he's a big boy up front,
Okay.
We need him on defense
Of
to
course.
clog the holes and clog lanes, and that's his job. So keep his knees healthy. But yeah, as you look at the rest of the list, Nashawn Wright had a hip injury. He was limited on Wednesday, but full on Thursday. I'm not too worried about that. So our ball hawkers are out there, our guys that have been getting the interceptions and the fumbles. So let's keep that up. Having said that, we can turn to Kenny's keys to victory. A lot of this is going to hinge, of course, on Lamar Jackson's injury, Nika, because he's the two-time NFL MVP. He's the most important factor in this game. And if he doesn't play, obviously I think you're going to see those betting markets change a little more to 50-50 Bears than it is right now. But nevertheless, because of Lamar's injury and assuming he does play, my first key to this game is the Bears must force the issue. They need to get him in a situation where he's tested early. They must get pressure on him and force him out of the pocket. And let's see if those legs are 100% in a full speed game early. Let's see what he's got, and that will help us
To determine how to
determine
play.
how we need to play
Yeah.
going forward, or whether we can back off, whether he's not confident in running. Because if he's not confident in running and he's not going to take off, then you've eliminated a huge threat of his game.
Yeah.
A huge threat.
Absolutely. And the coach for the Ravens might take him out because you don't want to further injure.
You don't want to further injure him, but I mean, they just might have to change their game plan.
They do,
you know,
yes.
and I guess that's what we want to figure out. We want to figure out what their game plan is with him. Are they taking it easy on him, or are they limiting the playbook options, or is he totally 100% like he's going to run it to the house if he gets a hole?
Okay. So they need to figure this out early.
I think so. Yeah.
Oh,
I think this is a
okay.
huge thing they need to do, and they need to force the issue. They need to, figure out whether it's getting him out of the pocket or whether it's forcing him into a running situation, some kind of like, let's test these legs. Let's see if he's there.
So aggressive play.
Because I don't think they're going to let it out of the cat out of the hat unless,
you have to force the issue. You have to play aggressive.
I mean, but they don't want to give it away if there's a play later in the game
No.
where he takes off and you weren't expecting it because
True.
oh,
but-
he hasn't taken off yet all game, but you didn't test him either.
But if you start pressing early, you force the other team's hand.
Yes. And with that, he's missed 2 games and they had a bye week. So let's see if he's rusty.
Okay.
Let's see if we can't force a turnover early on in this game. I mean, we've been so good at winning the turnover battle. When you're on the road in the NFL, you kind of want to win the turnover battle if you want to win the game, I feel like. So, and he's rusty. He could have one. Let's see. The Ravens, by the way, are losing the turnover battle this year. They have a -7. They've coughed it up 10 times to their opponents, and they've only taken it away 3 times. So we need to get a turnover or 2 this week. And by the way, Lamar Jackson's not the only thing you got to be worried about, because they have Derrick Henry over there as well, who is a beast. Beast. Now, he's not been the most productive this year. When you look at his stats, he has 439 yards on 88 attempts, and that's 5 yards a carry. But it's very up and down, Nika. Week 2 against Houston, only 2.2 yards a carry, 15 attempts for 33 yards. You go down the calendar, or up the. That was 2 weeks ago. I'm sorry. If you go up the calendar backwards, he had 8 attempts for 42 yards against the Chiefs. That's 5.3 yards, but just 42 yards, Like, they didn't utilize him a lot that game. The Bears defense has been really good against the run, especially since they got out of the bye week. They tightened up that. They tightened it up on their own running game as far as producing more. So I hope that trend continues, and I hope they can zero in on Derrick Henry as well. Now, when you have Lamar and Derrick Henry and you're trying to figure out what Lamar is, it'll be interesting to see how much the Ravens lean on Derrick Henry early in this game to help Lamar get acclimated back to being on the field again, assuming he does play.
Okay.
But if he doesn't play, I would also assume Derrick Henry would be a huge part of the game plan then, because he's like your best offensive running back player, kind of, besides if you didn't have Lamar.
Okay.
Anyways, so it looks like Derrick Henry is, he's pretty awesome. He has 4 touchdowns in 6 games, bunch of yards, 5 yards per carry on the average. So he's a beast, Do not
fine.
underestimate him.
Absolutely not. But the thing is, the Ravens have been losing games because the quarterback is injured.
Absolutely. And just a reminder, he is averaging 5 yards a carry, but week 1 against the Bills, he had 9.4 yards a carry on 18 attempts.
Was that the game they won?
Buffalo won that game at the last minute. That was the opening week Sunday night game. So,
I see.
All right. Well, we got the Ravens turnovers. They cough it up 1.67 times per game. So they, when you look at what the Bears defense has done, that kind of, we should push it more closer to 2 at least, if not get a third one on them,
Okay.
But let's definitely force that issue early in the game. Let's see what the Ravens are going to be out of this bye week and with Lamar coming back. Let's talk about the offensive keys to victory for a second. Let's take it to the other side of the ball. Our offense, I feel like, really needs to get off to a crisp start here. I need to see sharp Caleb Williams. This is one of those games where if we're going to win, I think Caleb Williams needs to get a lot closer to that 70% threshold that he has been not achieving the past couple weeks. We've seen him at 58%, actually almost on the nuts the last couple games. And We saw the yards per attempt just way down against the Saints. It was way good against the Commanders on Monday Night Football at 8.7 yards per attempt, but way down into the sixes against the Saints. So we really need it back up towards the nines if we're going to win this game on the road.
Well, he had a bad game last week, so hopefully he can turn it around.
There's been a lot of talk about that. We had a theory that he is working on hitting receivers while they are running still, as opposed to having to have them stop for the ball. And, just probably trying too hard at that a little bit. I saw some other analysis this week on Twitter. Apologies for I didn't source it or screen grab it, but it made sense to me that the Bears have worked on Caleb Williams' mechanics. When Ben Johnson got here, they've changed some of his mechanical ways that he throws the ball. And while he has improved accurately downfield as a result of this, he has lost a little bit of accuracy on his short game. So most of the majority opinion feel like, let's not lose the deep ball. Let's just fix the short ball. And that it's just a part of the process that he's working through. Sorry, instant gratification culture. You're not going to win this one.
Yeah.
But I think
repetition. That's what you need.
Ben Johnson said it from day one. And if you look at the Jared Goff similarities out there this week, you'll know that Jared Goff struggled in his first year in the Lions offense. But we're going to talk about that at the end, I promise.
Okay.
Aside from that, I think we need a big play early in this game. We need to bust a big one, whether it's a run, whether it's a screen pass, whether it's just a straight up deep ball. We need to bust a big play early in this game.
So come out swinging in the first quarter.
Come out swinging. The flea flicker comes to mind against Dallas a few weeks ago where we had the trick play. This is all I'm saying is, like, if Ben Johnson's got to play a rabbit up his hat, we should pull that out early maybe in this game on the road where you're going for 5 wins in a row. This is a huge challenge for this team. How do you overcome challenges? Pull a rabbit out of your hat sometimes. You start to get better at what you've been working on. So hopefully he's just saving some stuff for this game that we haven't seen yet and that they can kind of take them off guard with. We certainly have the offensive personnel to do it.
Yes.
So this is one of those games where it's a good chance to see it. Now, I want to go back to halftime. This is a game where the Bears are going to have to make strong halftime adjustments, I feel like, if they want to win. It's just part of the game, and it's something that we have been a little bit sluggish with. We saw last week at the end of the first half, the Saints got a touchdown after they were being shut out, and then they started the second half with the ball and marched right down and scored again, and it made it a really tight game for a second, 20-14.
The second half has been a struggle for the Bears this whole season.
It has. They did come through at Washington and get DeAndre Swift made a move and got a touchdown, and that was huge. But on the whole, we haven't had consistency moving the ball downfield in the second half, which tells me that the defenses are adjusting to us quicker than our offense is adjusting to them. So hopefully, if our offense gets off to a good start in this game, then we can start to move like, okay, what are they going to do to counter this and stay ahead of them? So aside from that, Nika, my last key to victory for the Bears on Sunday is to limit the penalties, of course. This has been a disastrous season for the Bears with penalties, and nobody has been their own worst enemy, in my view, in the NFL this year more than the Chicago Bears have.
Yep.
And it probably cost them a win in week 1. They could be in the first place right now in the NFC North. But nevertheless, it hasn't gotten better.
Yes.
Last week it had 10 penalties in one game, and it's just like, ooh.
Ouch.
And you're giving the other team almost 100 yards back.
That's nuts when you think about it. That's crazy.
It is nuts. And it needs to get cleaned up because, like we said, this is one of those things that officials can become psychological with them where they start to look at the numbers ahead of the game. Well, the Bears get average 9 penalties a game. Well, we're going to have to throw 9 flags on them today.
Yeah.
It's just kind of human nature,
Absolutely.
And you start to see things that
they're not there.
Maybe aren't there, maybe are ticky-tacky a little bit. Well, they're guilty because they were guilty last week.
And the false starts.
I don't blame the officials necessarily. It's reality. It's part of life. All right. Let's turn our attentions to the markets, everybody.
Oh, poly
ding,
markets?
ding, 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 ding. Yes, yes. If you are a gambling man or fan, let's take a look at those lines for you heading into this game. And I love poly market because it's so simple to understand. It's not like plus 100, minus 200, and then you have to do this big long explainer to people about how money lines work in sports. But this is a lot more clear cut. And let's look at it. The Bears visiting the Ravens. 10 a.m. Sunday, they're not favored at all. The markets are heavily leaning towards the Ravens right now, 71 to 29%.
No, 70-30 split, huh?
Yes, which means if the Bears upset and you gamble $30 on this game, you will win 100. That's
Okay.
what is easy about this easy math. So not a bad taking on the table. And, you know, if the Bears listen to this show and hear my keys to victory and then go out and execute it, then you could be a rich person.
Well, if you bet on the Bears, sure.
Yeah,
Sure.
absolutely. So, yeah, tough money line going against the Bears. We could maybe see this line change drastically if we find out like an hour before the game that Lamar Jackson isn't going to play.
Yes, that could flip or be 50-50.
Definitely. So the fact that this is so lopsided now tells me that people that are gambling on this game do think he's probably going to play. So there's that. Now, the spread, however, in this game is 6.5. They have the Ravens winning by about a touchdown or so.
Oh.
You know, obviously 7 is a touchdown and it's never going to be a round number. It's always going to be a half. So if the Ravens win by a touchdown, they will cover. And if they win by 2 field goals, just 6 points, they will not cover. So now we've seen the Bears win by 12 last week against the Saints when they were favored by what, 5.5?
Something like that.
They always try to keep these spreads a little bit close, but this tells me that I feel like they feel like the Ravens are going to win by a touchdown or more.
Well, that's only if Lamar Jackson plays.
Correct.
If that changes.
All of these lines are totally under the microscope
Right.
if Lamar decides not to play. However, the money line on this, Nika, is 50-50 when it comes to the spread. So a lot more people feeling like the Bears will keep it within a touchdown than not. A lot. I mean, there is still, it's 50-50, so it's not a lot. It's split pretty evenly. In fact, even though it says 50 cents for the Bears, it says 53 for Baltimore.
Okay,
so
it's
it hasn't
slightly
even
different.
fallen below 50% for Baltimore yet. Now, the total points scored in this game is at 50.5 points as of this recording.
Okay.
And I feel like it could change and get lower. I feel like that's the trend, is like they like to start high and have it slowly trickle down.
I think it might be lower scoring game than we used to.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. The combined score, yeah. Do we see these two teams basically putting up a combined 50 points? And I think it depends. Again, a lot of X factors. Lamar playing, but also Caleb's play. Is this a game where we see Caleb, play better after a couple weeks where he was not as sharp as we've seen him earlier in the season? That's probably going to be the X factors in these things. I would tend to say it's all on Caleb in this. If Caleb has a great game, this game will go over.
Yes, he's got the potential for it, definitely.
I want to point out a couple things here. The Ravens giving up 32.3 points a game this season. So they are giving up even more than the Saints were going into the game last week.
I know,
They're both one-win teams.
For sure.
Even the Bears, who had that awful 52-point yield against the Lions in week 2, are giving up 25.8 points a game. So almost 7 points less per game. A touchdown. That's a touchdown less. So the Bears defense definitely overperforming. And then the Bears scoring more than Baltimore, but that is without Lamar Jackson for 2 games. So that average is probably affected. But I would tend to put more stock into the defensive points a game than I would into their offensive points a game. But that's just because I know of Lamar's injury and I know he's a big player in the league. And obviously, I know more about the Bears' status because of that Lions game, and I know that that's weighing some of these statistics down. Nevertheless, those are the numbers, and that's what we have to work with. So what is your prediction for
No.
this Sunday's game?
Let me pull my crystal ball over here.
Oh,
because I know.
Nika's crystal ball, everybody. The new segment coming soon. Where there's smoke, there's fire.
Well, yeah, sure. I would like the Bears to win.
Of course, me too.
I know, just to have a 5 on the
That's
books.
not a prediction.
Well, is it going to be over 25? No.
Okay. So the 50, you don't think they're going to break
I don't
50
think
and a
so.
half? Actually, it's dropped to 49 and a half already. So breaking news, everybody. Okay. My prediction is this. I did some homework, everybody. Jared Goff, who is the Lions quarterback, he came up in conversation this week with regards to Caleb Williams because Caleb Williams had an awful game last week, I think, by his standards against the Saints.
Okay.
It wasn't ugly. It was just bad. He could have played a lot better, and he was a couple throws away from probably doing that. And it's unfortunate, but it happens. The world's not ending.
That's right.
However, when looking at the first 6 games of Caleb Williams' tenure under Ben Johnson and Jared Goff's tenure under Ben Johnson, a lot of similar numbers started popping up between the quarterbacks. And, and Jared Goff was like a 7-year veteran when Ben Johnson became his offensive coordinator. And he had to come through the Rams system, an offensive team. It's not like he was football dumb or anything like that. He had some experience under his belt, and yet he started 1-5 when Ben Johnson was offensive coordinator. And it wasn't until later in the first season that his offense really started clicking. So people were kind of looking at it and like, yeah, it's going about as it should be in a sense when you look at the numbers side by side. However, I went ahead and decided to look at how Game 7 turned out for Jared Goff because this is Game 7.
Okay.
We're a prediction show, damn it.
Sure.
We don't look at the past to make
You wanna
excuses.
look
We
in
want to
the
look
future.
ahead and see what's coming.
For sure.
Jared Goff had a fantastic game in his 7th game under Ben Johnson.
Lucky 7.
He had a 108 passer rating. He was 27 of 37 for a 73% completion rating, his highest yet under Ben Johnson. So that tells us that Caleb Williams is about to have a great game, everybody, because that's what Jared Goff did, and that's the comparison.
All right. I like it. A lot of 7s. 7 is a lucky number.
He's going to have a
so-
great game, but this is what's going to happen. He's going to throw for over 300 yards for the first time this
Is that
season.
your prediction?
He's going to throw for 3 touchdowns, and he's going to have a quarterback rating over 100 after this game, and the media will not be able to shut the hell up on Monday.
We got to come up with something, some bet over here. If you lose, you have to do it something.
Hey,
I haven't figured it out
have you
yet.
seen what's going on in the NBA? Do not gamble, Nika. I mean, I know we just looked at the poly markets, but damn it, stay away. You don't want to be the next person rolled out in handcuffs, everybody. You
But-
don't know if you're dealing with the mob.
That's true.
Jesus.
That's true. And we're close to Vegas, so there's
We
that.
are too close to Vegas to handle. No, we should come up with something fun. Like I have to
I don't know yet. We
give
come up
Frexy a bath or something.
Oh, she will hate you for it, probably.
Yeah, you have to stay the bad cop in this relationship.
Wow.
All right. Well, Bears are going to win 28-24.
That's your prediction.
And if you are doing math, they will go over. That's right. If Caleb plays great, they're going to hit the over in this one.
All right.
So keep your eyes on that. They are going to win their 5th in a row, and they are going to be the talk of the NFL coming out of week 8. Week 8, everybody.
Oh, I know. Colin Cowherd will be like, I knew it. I predicted it.
Yeah, just like he found that information about Jared Goff and Caleb Williams too. I mean, the guy's literally passing it off on as his own.
I know.
And I apologize to the woman who did do the research and post it. I forgot your name when I saw your post this morning, and that was hilarious, by the way. So maybe I'll go and find that image, and at least if people don't hear me saying your name right now, if they can read, they will be able to see
All
your
right.
name. So apologies. Thank you for that. All right. Well, thank you for joining us on this Chicago Bears pregame show. We will be back here after the game for a postgame show and talk about how well these predictions came true, everybody.